'07 PT Cruiser. But the objective of this movie is to remove a CV or a half shaft, CV shaft, right? Most everyone's heard of those because they own a car. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead. Usually you have to remove a tie rod. We'll get to the ball joint, and that's all you gotta do. Don't waste your time taking the brake caliper off, generally, in most cases. Now, you could use a big hammer at this point. In fact, I would recommend put this back on to protect the threads in the event you miss and you hit this. You don't want to do that, but smack this really hard. But we're going to show you an actual puller that's designed for this procedure. Okay, this is made by OTC 7503. OTC is a big tool maker. Lots of car manufacturers have their numbers in their literature. Okay, this puller has a little pocket that encapsulates the end of the tie rod. It's kind of nice. Get my 16mm ratchet. I like to use a long handle. Can you see most of the ratchet here? Get the back out a little, you can. Whoops, it already broke loose. Well, they don't usually break loose that easy. That's nice. Tapered shank goes into a tapered hole. That's what we're trying to break loose. Whether it be with a puller, pushing it out, or we're using a hammer to smack it, which vibrates and jars it loose. Again, don't hit on the end. All you're gonna do is mash up the threads and kink all this and have to replace the tie rod. All right, so that part's done. Now the pinch bolt. Move the camera, actually, over to this other side. This ball joint does not have a tapered shank. It's got what's called a pinch bolt. When you see the bolt going horizontal, that means the pinch bolt style. Okay, and to get that out, many American make vehicles, this is a 15mm. You can get an air gun. I'm going to keep it quiet with a big long ratchet. Got to hold the nut on the other side. The other side is going to be a little trickier to get at. All right, let's see what we got here. Come on here. Let that just rest against there, maybe. Okay. Almost there. Oh, we should have used the air gun. All right. There's the nut. Now the pinch bolt probably isn't just going to slide right out. I'm going to need a little bit of a punch, then I'll get through. Pliers yet. Oh yeah. There we go. Pinch bolt. Now, the next objective is to pull the control arm down. We're going to pry this out of its hole. Then we get the CV shaft out. I made up this little chain. It's like 18 inches in length with one hook on the end. Just go down to the parts store, they sell chain. Get yourself some, I can't remember the size link, but get yourself a chunk of chain, because to get to the pry bar sometime, or to get to the control arm, sorry, I've got to put my bar, you see how it's on the frame here? I'm going to pry on the frame. Get you have to back up a little bit, you can. I'm going to cinch up my chain a little bit more. Stick my chain, or my bar through my chain. Hit the frame. Let's see if this will come out. There, we're back. Sometimes a little PB blaster is nice to soak that down with. Let's see if that'll get us. If not, we'll get a longer bar. There we go. I'm going to grab that. Maybe I can hold it. There we go. Okay, good. Now, our next obstacle, to get the big nut off. Okay, I already took off the little cage. This little spring-loaded washer actually has a purpose. It helps keep this from rattling around. It adds a little spring tension. Otherwise, sometimes it rattles, makes a little teeny noise that bothers people. So it really has a purpose. Sits inside there like that. Okay. All right, let's take the big nut off. There we go. Often, there's a big washer in here. Don't lose the big washer. Maybe, well, he'll come out on his own later. Maybe he'll come out here in a moment. Quite often, just to give this little persuasion to come out, I'll put this on just so it's flush. That way I'm not going to ruin any thread of the nut or the shaft. And I'll give it a thump. The hammer, he came off easy. So but sometimes they're kind of rusted, and you got to spray with some PB blaster. That was very loose. This is going to cooperate nice. And there goes the big washer. Keep track of that. Okay, one last step. Let's go underneath the car and show you where we're going to pry. This helps. We're going to give it a pop right here. And you got to give it a pop. You just can't lean and pry. You got to give it a quick jerk. And there it is. Okay, come back out with the camera. We'll slide it out here in a moment. And the CV shaft. Okay, so that's your objective, to take it out. Let's put it back in, like you put a new one in. Put it back in through here. Put a look underneath on the transmission side, please. Of course, probably should have got a little catch can to catch some fluid.
Probably.
Things you forget to do when you're making a movie. All right. So we'll get him started. Let's get a light on the subject.
There we go.
Okay, what I do, I'll kind of get it started back in, rotate it around a little bit, let it find the teeth. Okay. Now bring the camera back way out. And I'll grab hold of the shaft. Once I feel it's good and square and lined up and everything, I'll act like a little slide hammer here. This already went in. But I'll just kind of act like a little, that looseness in the joint, make it a slide hammer. And it's got to be tight right against the transaxle. Go look at that one more time. It's got to be tight between here. I mean, you just barely get your pry bar in there again. If it's hanging out, it's going to leak. It's going to leak fluid. It may not even be able to propel the vehicle. If this sits out too far, it's like having no shaft in there, obviously. And the differential is going to send all the torque to the axle with the least resistance. It'll be like being in neutral. Okay. Maybe there's one thing to show. Getting the ball joint, you have to move that around so it'll go straight in the hole. If you're on an angle, let's just show that one last part. If I pick up the pry this down, I bring it over. Again, the idea is, this has got to be straight up and down with that hole. So it'll fall back in once you bring that over. It's going to take more of a lean than I can give it right now.